Dear students, I would like to start with a quote. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Quote by Alvin Toffler. Dear students, welcome to the third unit of marketing research. Just to recap, what we have covered in Unit 1, if you recall, we tried to analyze definition of marketing research and its application. We tried to analyze that with n number of examples, looking into what is problem identification research and what is called as problem solving research. Subsequently, we moved to unit number 2, wherein we tried to analyze deeper insights of the marketing research process, where we also tried to look into the first step of marketing research, which is problem identification. We tried to analyze what are the tasks involved. We tried to look from a problem context of environment. We moved to problem definition, tried to analyze what is the difference between management decision problem and marketing research problem. Tried to study that and understand that with n number of examples which help us to understand how important it is to convert management decision problem into a marketing research problem. We also tried to conclude that with the different approaches to the problem is developed. We also tried to analyze in unit 2 what are the different types of research design. Today in unit 3 we would be looking into what is the difference between qualitative versus quantitative research? Also further, we'll try to look into classification of qualitative research procedures. Be it very clear, first we'll be looking into distinction between a qualitative and a quantitative research, and then we will go deeper into the insights of what are the different qualitative research procedures. Let us look into what is the difference between a qualitative research and a quantitative research. Dear students, when we were talking about the research design, therein we initiated to have some discussions on what is a qualitative data and what is a quantitative data. Similarly, on that ground, let us try to look into what is the point of distinction or POD between the qualitative research and the quantitative research. If you look at the word qualitative, it has a deeper connection with the word explore, which is exploration, to know, to describe, to understand reasons. That is what we do and is applicable when we talk about qualitative research. Similarly, when we talk about quantitative research, it is talking about quantity, that is to quantify, explain, and predict the occurrence of certain phenomena. When I talk about word exploration, if you look at the second point of difference, there would be smaller number of non-representative cases in case of qualitative research and would be large in number in case of quantitative, because it is quantity we are talking about, and in qualitative we are talking about limited or exploration, wherein we'll have very small number of representative cases for us to analyze. Data collection in case of qualitative research is always unstructured, and qualitative research it has to be structured. To mean unstructured, there is no specific format the way by which you are going to collect the information. And when we talk about structured format, it is very clear that it has everything in line and we need to just follow what is given as per the chronological sequences. In qualitative research, data analysis is non-statistical, while in case of qualitative research, it is a statistical. In case of outcome, qualitative research has an outcome which will help us to develop an initial understanding. In quantitative research, it recommends a final course of action. I suppose clear point of distinctions are maintained in terms of objective, sample, data collection, data analysis, and outcome. We need to connect ourselves with respect to what are different types of research required in marketing and whether it is qualitative or quantitative, a deeper understanding would be required. I said we will move to the classification of qualitative research procedure. If you look at the display on the slide, qualitative research procedures are classified into two broad categories. As the name says, direct, non-disguised is one form, and the other is called as indirect, which is disguised. The word non-disguised clearly means that the purpose of the project are disclosed to the participants. Why I am carrying out research, what information would be required, maybe that is very well communicated to the respondent from whom we are going to collect a response. In case of indirect, disguised form, purpose of the projects are not disclosed to the respondents. Further, if you see, if the purpose is disclosed, it is further categorized into focus group and depth interviews. While in case of indirect disguised, you have projective techniques which come into picture. In this presentation, we will be talking only about the first part. If you look on the slide, we will talk in detail about what is direct, non-disguised, which is further classified into focus group and depth interviews. To be more precise, just to recap, qualitative research procedures are of two types: direct and indirect. Indirect, the purpose of the projects are disclosed to the respondents. Let us look into the first part. Let's try to understand what is a focus group. As the name says, it is a group in which an interview is conducted in an unstructured, natural manner by a trained moderator among a small group of respondents. If you look at the definition of focus group, it has four words which are marked red on the slide as unstructured, natural, trained moderator, and a smaller group. Means focus group is nothing but a small group of respondents. From them, an information is collected in an interview which is unstructured, carried out in a natural manner, and this entire process is usually carried out by a person who is trained moderator who try to collect the information in a specified way. One who gets information and is aware of how he is going to take the information can be termed as a trained moderator. Key characteristics of focus group. If you look at the word focus group, each alphabet is converted into a characteristics for us to remember and for us to make it easy when you want to have a recall of what is focus group. The first alphabet is F. When we want to carry out a focus group, it is focused on a very particular topic, and as such, the most important characteristic, the respondents are disclosed with the purpose of interview being conducted. So focused on particular topic. O is outline. Outline is prepared for discussion. What is outline? Outline is nothing but what all is required or what could be our point of discussion, which is very clear with the moderator as well as the respondents. C is characteristics of moderator because he is going to moderate the entire interview. It is unstructured, no specific format is used. Size of the group is generally from 8 to 12. Group composition is homogeneous. Homogeneous means people of same characteristics from whom the respondent is sought are put together. Whatever is the discussion taking place is recorded in either audio cassettes or videotapes. O is observation. Everything which takes place in an interview format is observed and undisguised. Everything is known. Physical setting is relaxed. S is several sessions would be needed. That is 1 to 3 hours each. What does it mean? We have different set of process which needs to be carried out. Similarly, try to understand what are the advantages of focus group. First and foremost is synergism. What is synergism? That is 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. We try to have an interaction with the members in the group. We will get information or information new in a newer way and in a deeper way, which would further add the group members also to participate and provide us the required information for the study. Snowballing. It is nothing but the way if one person hears something, the other person from the words known tries to come up with whatever information he has. That is what is called as snowballing. Means it triggers reaction or information to be given by the other respondent. Stimulation is nothing but expression of ideas and exposure of feeling increases in the group. If there is an exposure of feeling, definitely the expression of ideas follows. As security is offered, it helps the respondents to have their feelings expressed in a similar way. Spontaneity, not required to answer the specific questions, hence responses are spontaneous. If you know, when you go for an interview, you're very clear with what is being asked, the questions being framed. But when you don't know whatever is asked, you try to answer that. That is what happens, is called as spontaneity. Serendipity, ideas likely to arise out of a group because of the discussion, information shared. New ideas would definitely come up from the discussion. Specialization, here the need of an highly trained interviewer is required. Scientific scrutiny of data, close scrutiny is required because whatever discussion takes place is recorded and later is used for analysis. Structure is very well in depth form, which they are treated. The data collection and analysis is relatively quickly. These are the few advantages of focus group as a coin which has head and tail. As advantages, you will also try to have certain disadvantages which may arise through focus group. One, there could be a chance that the group would be misused or abused and the required information can be collected with respect to what a researcher wants. Can be misjudged in case it is susceptible to a client or researcher biasness. Most of the cases it is very difficult to moderate the discussion. In that case, we need to have a moderator who is highly skilled and knowledgeable. Messy is again a disadvantage of focus group, which talks about unstructured nature of respondent would make coding, analysis and interpretation difficult. Misrepresentation, not representative of general population and may not be projective. If you look at this, is what is the first point which we have covered. As I told you in the beginning of my session, we tried to analyze what is the classification of qualitative research procedure in which the purpose of the projects are disclosed to the respondent is non-disguised, and we tried to analyze that with one type which is called as focus group. Let us try to look into the second part which is called as in-depth interview. Depth interview is nothing but unstructured, direct, personal interview in which every single respondent is probed by a highly skilled interviewer to uncover underlying motivation, beliefs, attitude, and their feeling on a topic. Let us try to understand the difference between the two. We are talking about unstructured, direct, personal interview. Again, in which a single respondent is probed. Probing is generally a repetitive questions are asked with a very specific intention that I could uncover underlying motivations, belief, attitude, and feeling on a topic. If we look at here also, for understanding what is depth interview, I've tried to put that in a form of acronym wherein each alphabet speaks about the feature of the topic. D is depth of coverage. E is respondent is individually interviewed. P is probing. T is talented interviewer or moderator required. And the intentions are H. We need to have hidden motives discovered. Similarly, there are advantages and disadvantages of depth interview. If you look at advantages, Lot of detail is provided. Information obtained is comparatively more accurate, and personal or intimate topic can also be discussed since the personal rapport is established between the respondent and interviewer. Disadvantages are it is difficult to generalize since the interviewers are not standardized. Success depends on the interviewer, their chance of biasness. Data analysis can take lots of time. To conclude, I would like to put as our understanding in this video on what is a difference between qualitative and quantitative. Also, we tried to analyze what are the processes which we have tried to analyze in case of qualitative research. We have some idea about what do you mean by focus group interview and what is in-depth interview with an understanding of what are the features, what are the characteristics, as well advantages and disadvantages. Thank you from my end.